everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Thank you so very much for joining me here today. I hope you guys are having a really good Saturday wherever you are in the world. And today we are building a British inspired, it's not British inspired, it's English inspired cottage. I think the two go hand in hand and pretty much the same, but I've named it English Cottage on the gallery, and the video was probably going to be called English Inspired Cottage. And you can see here that we are building in the world of Windenburg, and we do end up changing lots. So if you've obviously seen the video at the start, then you'll realize that things don't quite add up here. And that is because although this lot is absolutely gorgeous, I think the lighting on it is pretty rubbish. And so I ended up moving it to a different lot in Windenburg, and I thought it just fit a little bit better and the lighting was nicer, so that's why we moved it. And we're just working on the exterior of the build here, and it's pretty basic, you know, it's just a rectangle with another rectangle stacked on top. Stacked on top. Oh wow, we're making mistakes already. How far are we in? 1 minute and 30 seconds. Wow, I think that's a new world record. And then we've got these, I don't know what they're called, on the third floor. They're not even functional, so just skip past them. They're just for decoration. What are they called? Whatever they're called, them up there. Those things up there, they are not functional, but they just added a little bit more depth, a little bit more, I don't know, it makes the build look a little bit less flat, a little bit less bland. And yeah, I think this looks, I'm quite happy with how this looks. I've wanted to do an English cottage for so long. I did do a Christmas cottage, obviously back in December on the channel, which is probably quite similar to this in terms of the shape. However, the interior of this build, I very much tried to stick to an English cottage traditional vibe. And so we end up doing this really stunning exterior work with all of these sort of decorations, the flowers, the leaves, because I wanted it to be really dreamy and just really pretty, and hopefully we achieved that here. I'm thinking we did. As I said, I'm quite happy with how this came out. And you'll see me here, there's a lot of experimentation going on because this is a style of build that I don't necessarily feel, not that I don't feel comfortable doing. You know, if you don't already know this, I am actually from the UK myself, but I don't live in a cottage or anything like that, but I drive past them quite often near where I live, and I've always thought I really need to build an English cottage for the channel because I just absolutely love how they look. They're so quaint and delicate and pretty, and I really wanted to get this across in this house. So as I said, hopefully we achieved that with this, and it was really important to me to get the colours right as well. So there's a lot of creams and whites and soft pinks, and we end up messing around a little bit with the landscaping as well and using some debug items. But I'll be honest, I did some of it off camera because, as you can see, this video, I think by the time it goes out, it's probably going to be nearing on 20-ish minutes long. And when you consider my penthouse, no, it's not penthouse, my industrial townhouse speed build, I'll link that down in the description below if you haven't checked that out already. I'd really appreciate it if you did. That actually is about 3 minutes shorter than this one. But I think that's because with this one, there's a lot of intricate details that I wanted to make sure that I got in. So the landscaping was really important to me. And as you can see, it's pretty much coming together here now. And it was just really important to me to get the right structure and to get the right level of landscaping on this build. So as I said, hopefully we achieved that here. As I said, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And although at the moment I'm not too happy, I was sort of going back and going in and out. So I actually built this house initially about 3 weeks ago now, the exterior, and I finished the interior today. So on the 20th of February, I finished the interior because until I moved this house onto a different lot, I didn't actually like it. I did not like how it looked. And so just moving it onto a different lot, I think, played a huge part in that for me. And I often find that with my builds. I think some of my builds look really good in certain lots because of the way the lighting hits the building. I don't know. I think people who build in The Sims 4 quite a lot will understand this, but you got to get the lighting just right, you know. It's got to speak to you. You've got to like it to actually put it out there, or at least I do. I don't put builds out there that I'm not happy with, because if I'm not happy with them, how can I expect you guys to like them? That's sort of my mentality. And so this one I was kind of really unsure about for quite some time, and then I changed the lots, and then I sort of just kept dipping in and out and just doing little bits here and there, and yeah, I don't know, I think it looks okay. You know, I think just having a look here, which is quite strange, at the back of the house there, I've used some of the debug vines from the university expansion pack, and they don't actually end up staying there. And I think when I moved the lot onto the new lot it's still in Windenburg, so this is Windenburg, but I moved it just to a different lot in Windenburg, which ended up just having much nicer lighting. And if I remember correctly, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when we actually move onto the lot, you'll see, but I think that's initially where a bar was in Windenburg to begin with, because I think I've seen a lot of people do like British inspired pubs and building them on that lot, and I think that's the lot I ended up building on. But just correct me if I'm wrong, because although I've been playing The Sims for a very long time, for like 20 plus years, there are still things that I don't know, you know, which I think is normal. Anyway, so the landscaping that you're seeing here, apart from the walls, we pretty much keep the same, if I am remembering correctly, other than changing out some of the trees on the outside, because I found the most amazing house oh my gosh, I found the most amazing tree in the debug menu from Get Together, I think it was. Obviously that's the pack that Windenburg came in, right? You know, again, correct me if I'm wrong. And the most amazing tree is in the debug menu, and it's really full, and it's got flowers on it, and it's a tree that I've never used before. I've seen other people use it, and I've always thought, where have you got that tree from? And I accidentally came across it today. So the tree on the right hand side of this house ends up being changed out for that tree from the debug menu. But I did it off camera, because if I'd have kept all the footage in, I think this speed build would be nearing on an hour, and I'm not even exaggerating, because there's just so many intricate details, so much indecisiveness, which is just me all over. But that's okay. You just got to take it as part of the process. And again, you know, I'll go back to, it took me a while to love this house, but I really do like it. And I like it so much so that I was thinking about texting my sister, who has recently just got The Sims 4 for PlayStation, by the way, because I bought it for her for Christmas. And I think she told me that she wanted a kind of like a, I mean, again, I'm probably wrong here. So Fiona, that's my sister's name. If you are watching this and I'm going off on a tangent here, please let me know. But I was thinking of renovating this for base game and cats and dogs only, because they're the packs that I got for her for Christmas. Now her birthday is coming up next month, so I've already run it by her, and I am going to buy some more packs for her, so I just need to ask her which packs she would like. And I'm planning on maybe renovating this so that she can use this in her game as well. So maybe I will do a renovation video. Again, I'm not promising anything, but maybe I'll do a renovation video where I renovate this house, but with just using base game and cats and dogs items, because I used a lot of cats and dogs items in this build because they do have that cottagey feel, and so I think that might be a nice idea. But I will text her and ask her if she wants me to even do that, because she might be like, no, I don't like it, please don't bother. So we are moving on to the kitchen here, and as you can see, the two rooms downstairs are quite generously sized. So we've got a kitchen, dining room, which is the room we're working on here, and then opposite to that, which has an archway leading to it, is the living room. And so again, I'm just trying to really stick to these cottagey vibes. Now, I found an image on Pinterest that used, oh my god, it was like a real life house. So how do they use it? So they had like these pale floorboards on the floor, and they had this the exposed brick was more white, but the texture was definitely the same as this one here. And so that's why we've done that in here, because I'd seen a picture on Pinterest and I was like, actually that looks quite nice. It looks rustic. It's still got a cottagey vibe to it. And so that's what we end up using here. And this, I've been wanting to do this for ages. And I know it seems like a really trivial thing, but this, oh my gosh, what's it called? Table from the Cats and Dogs pack, which you can see in the middle of the room here. I've been wanting to use that as like a portable island in a kitchen for quite some time, because I think it looks, it's not functional, by the way, it's purely aesthetic, which is why obviously we've got this dining room table here with the chairs from Cats and Dogs, which I think fit really well, because when I think cottage, I think these chairs. Like, that's just what I think. But we end up using that table from Cats and Dogs because it is, I think I've talked about this before on the channel, but that is one of my all-time favourite tables. I think it's so nice. And it's just like, it's completely my style, and I absolutely love it. And so anyway, I wanted to use that in a kitchen, and I've wanted to use it for a really, really long time. And so I was like, I'm going to use it in this house. And again, we'll go back to, it's not functional, it's purely decorative, but it looks good. So that's okay. And then we end up using this fireplace from the Eco Lifestyle pack. And then we just pop the chair from the Paranormal Stuff pack there, which I think fits so well. Initially, I wanted to use the chair from Cats and Dogs, you know, the high back one with like the throw on the back. Oh my gosh, I love that chair so much, but we end up using it in the living room, and so I just decided against using that there. And again, using this cabinet here from the Cats and Dogs pack, because I didn't know what else to put here, and I ended up like just going through the Cats and Dogs catalogue, and I thought, actually that looks quite good there, so I ended up leaving that in. And so we're just adding some finishing touches to the kitchen here, and I love this basket. I think it's from, oh no, what pack is that from? Sims 4. Oh my gosh, I'm useless. You know what, if you guys have made it this far into the build, first of all, thank you very much, and second of all, I am absolutely useless when it comes to knowing what items are from what pack. So if anyone ever has a question about, oh, Rachel, what pack is that from? That's really nice. I think it's like it's like a coin toss as to whether I know or not. And some things I'm really good at. I'm like, yep, that's from that pack. That's from that stuff pack. That's from that game pack. That's from that expansion pack. And then there are other times when I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what pack that's from. Like, I literally don't have a clue. So we'll just move swiftly on. With the living room, we are again using the brick and the same wood paneling on the floor just to keep everything fluid and cohesive, because obviously there is an archway, so I think I kind of had to do that, because if it suddenly changed flooring, I don't think that would have made much sense. So anyway, again using, I think you guys are going to be sick of me saying Cats and Dogs. I think at this point, if you guys were doing a drinking game, you might already be drunk. Anyway, so the fireplace is from Cats and Dogs. Again, using the table from Cats and Dogs too. This bookshelf is from Cats and Dogs too. This little chair in the corner, the white one, is from the University pack, which I think I used in my New Orleans inspired house as well. I will link that down in the description below if you'd like to check that out. And it's a chair that I don't use very often, but in certain builds, I just seem to gravitate towards it, which I suppose isn't a bad thing, because I think it works really well in this room. And this room's very soft, it's very pastel-y, it's got a lot of white items in it, which is so not my style. I don't normally go for this, but I think with it being an English cottage, I don't know why, it just kind of ended up going in this direction, and I think sometimes you've just got to sort of go with the flow, really. So that's what I did here. But that little footstool near the chair, that's also from Cats and Dogs, and I honestly love that footstool so much, especially in that swatch. I think it looks so cute. I'm just in love with it. And so you'll just see me here like bobbing back and forth and just coming across items and thinking, oh, actually that might look good there, and that might look good there. And then we end up using these nifty knitting items on the wall here, just because they scream cottage to me, or at least that's my opinion anyway. You guys might think differently. And then we use, I think that lamp is from the base game, but again, because it's quite oldie, traditional looking, I was like, oh, that looks good here. And this is the chair that I'm talking about. So this is the chair from Cats and Dogs, and this photo on the wall is also from Cats and Dogs. If you are playing a drinking game and you're not drunk by now, like, there's a problem, because I've said Cats and Dogs like a million times. But as I said, I did use a lot of items from that pack because they're very traditional looking and they just look really, really good in cottage builds, or that's what I think anyway. And I absolutely love that chair. So now we're working on the master bedroom. And if you are returning to the channel, then you already know that I do struggle sometimes with bedrooms, or master bedrooms to be more specific, because children's rooms I don't tend to struggle with, but master bedrooms, I don't know. It's kind of like again, a bit of a coin toss as to whether they turn out well or not. I think the only, and this is genuine, the only master bedroom I've ever genuinely been happy with is the one from my Scandinavian house build, which I will also link down in the description below if you'd like to check that out. Thank you. I think there's like 3 builds linked in the description below, so if you do want to check them out, I really, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, that is. If you already checked them out, then you might already sort of know what I'm talking about. But yes, I think with this room in particular, you're probably panicking a little bit and thinking there might be some routing issues for Sims going through in between the bed and the fireplace there. And my Sim had absolutely no problems whatsoever. So if you do come across any routing issues, I mean, it was a bit of a strange one because when I play tested this, I think I had some problems with the Sims going through, so I think I pushed the bed back ever so slightly and then it was absolutely fine. So if you do have routing issues, please let me know. But when I play tested this, I had no problems. But I know since the platform update that came with Snowy Escape, I know there have been some routing issues with the game in general, and not because the items aren't placed correctly, but more because the game, I think when they added platforms, I think the game struggles now to find the correct routes. That's what I think anyway. That's not confirmed, it's just something that I've been thinking about recently. But anyway, I'm going to stop harping on about that. And then I also realised that this hanging plant from the paranormal stuff pack, I hadn't even used it in this build. And I came across it in the catalogue and I put it in this bathroom, and then I put it in the children's room too, and I wish I'd have added it downstairs in the kitchen as well, but I didn't, you know. I think it's one of my favourite hanging plants, and I think I just forget that it's there quite often because it does come up in the catalogue, you know, when you search plants, but it's just not one that I gravitate towards, again, which is weird because I absolutely love it. But now we're working on the final room, which is the children's room here, which I think ends up looking really cute. It's very mismatchy. It's very, I can imagine all the items that are in this room have sort of come from here, there and everywhere, and they've sort of been popped together just to make this really, really sweet looking space for the child Sim that lives here. So again, I'm quite happy with how this turned out, and I think it looks pretty good with the rest of the build. But I'm going to leave you guys here now because, again, I'm pretty sure you are sick of me talking. But this house is available to download from the gallery if you would like to check it out. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files are linked down in the description below. They're available to download from Sim File Share. But thank you very much for joining me here again today, guys. I hope you guys have an amazing Saturday, whatever you're doing, whatever your plans are, and I will see you next time. Bye!